G'day guys, it's James here from Total Balance Chiropractic. Today what I wanted to talk to you about are some of the main theories that are out there around how we can go about changing our posture, and just to compare and contrast those with the work that Tom and I do here in terms of the technique that we use, which most of you will know by now is called advanced biostructural correction. So people often have an idea around what causes bad posture and how to change it. And often, if we look at extremes on the spectrum, down at this end we might have, say, the idea that suggests that we can change our posture through stretching and strengthening. So, for example, if we have someone who's all hunched forward, we have an idea that they might be tight through the front part of their body and maybe weak at the back. So if we can strengthen things back here and stretch things open here, we might be able to influence that forward posture. Great theory, but unfortunately it doesn't always produce the results that we would like. And on the other end, we have chiropractors who say, well, look, it's primarily because of misalignments in the body, and if we can adjust the person in the right way, give them stretches to change their body alignment, then that will improve things over time. Again, wonderful theory, doesn't always work out that way in reality. So what we observe in ABC is that really it's a combination of those two factors, that things can go out of alignment, but then that can create soft tissue changes that then need to be worked on as well. So if we look at our little spine model, so one of the key theories we have in ABC is this idea that the body is largely self-healing, self-correcting. So when we look at the way our body lines up, bones go out of place in our body all the time when we move and when we bend and when we have traumas and accidents. But most of the time our body's able to use the muscles that attach to the spine to pull things back into place again. When we look at the design of the spine, though, what we often observe is that there are no muscles sort of posterior to the spine or at the back of the spine that can pull in this direction. So when things get stuck forward, it's very difficult for our body to pull that back into place by itself. And you might have observed this yourself when you see someone with bad posture, often they're stuck forward like this. Now, once that person gets stuck forward, if they're left that way for anything more than a few months, what also starts to happen is that there will be soft tissue changes that happen within the body as a result of that new posture. So in other words, all of the connective tissues, the fascia, the soft tissue structures that support and help to hold our body together, they will start to adapt to that new shape. So if we look at this balloon as an example, instead of our body being nice and elastic and springy, if it's out of alignment, it pops back up again. What will happen over time is that our body will sort of shrink to that new shape. And so what that means is that if all we then do is focus on trying to adjust things back into place and force the body back into position, this soft tissue resistance will have the tendency of just wanting to pull us back into position over and over again. So what we do in ABC that's a little bit different is that we combine some very specific targeted stretching with very specific targeted adjustments. So the first thing we want to do is release some of this soft tissue stuff that's holding your body locked up. And the way we do that is through very specific stretches where we get your body into positions that you can't quite reach for yourself, and we are able to apply a bit of a tug at the end to try and pull some of that stuff free. That allows us to get you back to that nice elastic state. And then we want to adjust the spine in a way that corrects the things that the body can't correct without at the same time potentially creating a new problem for the body. So that's the reason why a lot of our adjustments are done in a standing position where we put our hand behind the spine and we create a pressure through the body that helps to realign those bones in the direction the body can't, at the same time trying to minimize the pressure into the spine that could potentially push things further forward. So let's just look at an example of that in terms of one of the cases that we've seen in our office, just to give you a better idea of what I'm talking about. So here we have a classic example of what I was talking about in terms of combining the stretches and the adjustments. So this is James. He was my CrossFit coach several years ago, and very fit, very active, very flexible guy, spent a lot of time working on his mobility, so it certainly wasn't for lack of trying that he was having some issues with his posture and balance. This was him before his first adjustment, letting his body relax and slump. This was him a few minutes later after we'd done some very targeted stretching and some very specific adjustments. Now, in both of these photos, the instructions are to let your body relax, and yet once we'd released those soft tissue adhesions, once we'd done some very specific adjustments, you can see his body was doing a much better job of staying much more upright with less effort. And over the next few weeks, his body was actually able to relearn what that normal posture should look and feel like. And this was him at the start of his 12th visit before we'd actually done any work with him on that day. So he's walking in, he's letting his body relax, it just stays up, his posture looks a lot better. I won't even begin to tell you some of the changes that he noticed in terms of how he felt and functioned. Suffice to say, things were doing a lot better after that period of time, and he felt like his body was certainly functioning at a much more stable level. So there you have it. So I hope that makes a bit more sense now. So in reality, when we think about it, neither of those theories is entirely incorrect, but they really need to be combined together. So yes, we need to stretch and we need to release soft tissue restrictions that can keep your body locked up. But mainly what we're dealing with in our office are the restrictions that you can't reach yourself. So our stretches involve putting you into positions that you can't reach for yourself, and then working to take that stretch a little bit further to pull that stuff free. And then we want to realign the misalignments that your body can't correct for itself. And as we discussed, that involves mainly the stuff that's stuck too far forward. If we can bring that back into position, then that's going to help your body not just create but also maintain a more upright posture with less effort. So there you go. So that's what ABC is all about. Is getting your body back into a balance point where it's able to stay more upright with less effort, and life certainly becomes a lot easier and smoother when you're able to do that. So if you have any further questions on that, make sure you ask Tom or myself when you're in for your next visit. Otherwise, we'll catch you again soon.